Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I literally had a client last
Okay,
week.
well, let's start then.
Okay.
I don't want to waste this wisdom, this Brad
I
wisdom.
don't know about wisdom.
Welcome to the Dan, Anton, and Brad show.
There it is.
Now here's our host, Dan Asaka.
I'm glad he did it because it's so lame.
What? That was awesome. I like it.
Oh my gosh, I can't wait to clip that and then put that as my ringtone.
Someday we'll hire a professional to actually do it.
Dude, your intro gave me goosebumps.
That's good.
I'm like sweating now.
Really? It's not because of the Red Bull?
Probably both. A little bit of A, a little bit of B. You know, it's all good. But
Dan's on his third Red Bull this morning.
yeah, essentially, it's so bad. I need to clean it up, guys. I need to be healthier like you guys. My body is like it's not a temple. I don't treat it like a temple. It's like it's like a holding cell. I feel like
a samurai house.
yeah, it's terrible, dude. Yeah, it's a third world country. I have a third world country body. No offense. I don't even know what that means.
I find it easier when your kids get older past the toddler years for you to be able to focus on yourself a little bit more, because right now they're so dependent on you and, like, the meals and stuff like that. Like making food for both you and Hannah and the kids, like it's hard.
I'm lucky because, you know, my in-laws, my parents, they live in an ADU behind our house. So we have dinner together every night, and my mom still cooks for us. So that's the only reason why I'm still like alive, you know. But I was thinking about this, right? It's like garbage in, garbage out. Like literally, whatever you eat, that becomes your body, right?
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
before kids, I'd say my entire body was like 90% burritos, and then like 10%. Like McDonald's and water, maybe.
Yeah.
Not even water, just like liquid, whatever the liquid is. And then after kids, I would say 90% of my body must be built out of the molecules from Red Bull and Monster and coffee, right? You're made out of like vegan stuff, you know? You're made out of like
past couple of years, but yeah.
right? So you guys have like nice skin and all that. Like, dude, my pores. I bet, like, if you go microscopic, like, anyway, okay, all right.
There's like a red.
yeah, it's terrible.
But
All
how
right.
come you didn't eat like Asian food?
I do at home.
No,
Yeah.
but like burritos, you were saying 90%.
Because I love burritos,
Oh, you like burritos?
dude.
Okay.
I mean,
Burrito,
in
man.
California,
Yeah.
like, dude, burritos are the best.
I love tacos. Like,
Oh,
if,
yeah,
like if
tacos,
it's like
for
Mexican food,
Hell
I'd
yeah.
say like my favorite is tacos.
Yeah.
Like
Dude, I love Mexican cuisine. It's probably my favorite.
And the crazy thing is, like, you know, we go to Mexico frequently,
Yeah.
and the Mexican food here in the Bay Area still better than the Mexican food we have in Mexico. It's crazy. Yeah.
Oh my god.
Well, yeah, because like, you know, like higher quality
Yeah.
stuff, right?
Yeah.
All right, guys, we're here, episode number 3 of the closing crew, right? You gave me an intro. Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
Absolutely.
And you guys who are you guys?
Anton.
I'm Brad.
All right. So this is the trifecta here. So today's topic, gentlemen, is short-term versus long-term rentals. So let's establish short-term rentals. What's the timeline? What are we thinking here?
Basically, anything where you can rent it out daily. Because then there's also midterm rentals, which are 30 days and longer.
Right. So like Airbnbs we're talking about.
Yeah.
So Anton, you're the Airbnb king, right?
We have
And then-
Anton has about 7 or 8.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, 5 now and 3 coming up. Yeah, 8 gonna be in total.
Alright.
Yeah.
Yeah. In prime locations too. So that's fantastic. So we got to do a deep dive into that.
Okay.
You have a few Airbnbs too.
Yep. Hawaii, Tahoe, and then I'm still trying to convince my family to Airbnb the place down in Huntington.
Yeah, that'd be prime.
Yeah.
I mean, just you could cycle to the beach. Yeah, beautiful location. Isn't it pretty highly regulated in that area though?
Yeah, Huntington, you'd have to do midterm. So you have to do
Okay.
30 days and longer. But what usually happens with midterm rentals is people rented it for 30 days, but they only stay for like 2 or 3 weeks.
Okay, got it.
So
So I'm lacking in that part in my portfolio. I'm more focused on long-term rentals.
yeah.
So this is great because I have two people with extensive experience. So why don't I kind of ask questions from
Well,
the
and just to
common
give
man?
some background with Dan too, you have a duplex with 2 different tenants and then a townhome, and all long term, right?
Yeah. And then I have a weird little place in
That's
Las
right,
Vegas.
That's right.
It's so random. And then and then the place where we're at eventually that's going to be a duplex or 2 single families technically, but we'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
I still have to figure out the logistics of that.
Very smart moves.
But we'll see. Okay, so for me,
Okay.
financially, short-term rentals seem to be better financially. At least from my perspective, it seems like it's more work because you're managing it more, or at least like you have systems and you're hiring people to constantly clean it and get it ready and all that stuff. But how do you guys feel about it? Does it feel overwhelming? How have you made it not feel overwhelming? Like, how did you guys set it up?
Well, I think it depends on the location, short term versus long term. Because let's say in Hawaii, so one of the condos, so there are some people who is actually renting it as the long term, but the difference is going to be huge. So let's say if you do long term, the same condo is going to be around like 2,500. But if you do short term rental, so I would say the max I got was like 7,000 a month.
Wow.
It's a huge difference.
Yeah.
But I mean, of course, you have like more hands-on because you have to managing cleaning crew. Like if something breaks, like it's you're more involved. But I think it's still worth it. Like it depends on the location. Doing short term versus the long term.
Right.
Yeah.
Because I was like, oh yeah, dude, I need to start doing Airbnb. And then Anton told me some homeless guy took a fat shit in front of your house
Oh yeah.
while people were in it.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, maybe it's not for me. I don't know if I want to.
Well, I mean, it can happen anywhere.
Yeah, I know. I'm just joking.
I mean, it can also happen in the duplex. Yeah.
Right. Absolutely. I'm sure they're doing it right now. I don't know.
But I mean, it's also, I would say, depends on the location. So because like Waikiki, for example, is like a prime location, and this definitely makes sense because the traffic is huge. But if you have somewhere house, I don't know, in Sacramento,
Oh yeah.
I don't think so that the Airbnb, if you get one booking a month versus like long term, like contract. So I think in that case it would be better,
right?
Versus doing Airbnb over there.
I've had clients that ask me about Airbnbs and just where they should do it, and they bring up the Bay Area and just even Sacramento too.
Yeah.
And, I tell them I don't have experience in that, but I would recommend against it because I feel like most suburban Airbnbs get trashed more. There are more parties and stuff like that. I remember Marissa, my oldest daughter, she'd go to a couple of house parties in high school, and they were all Airbnb.
Oh my God.
Dude,
Yeah. See, that's a nightmare for me.
Or I think it has to be some kind of like a special place, like if it's in the regular area, like for example Bay Area, so like the place has to look like a retreat or something special. That the people willing to pay money to enjoy the property.
That's a great point because one of my friends, his name's Tung, he's in real estate. He has,
Shout out Tung.
Yeah, that's right. He has a Airbnb near Santana Row. And
Oh wow.
I mean, he's got an eye
Didn't
like
people
Anton.
die at a house party near Santana Row? I remember there was something in the news about that.
It's San Jose, so.
Oh yeah, I've been to this party. Yeah,
Oh yeah.
I ate so many ballots and spring rolls.
That's so on the money. That's so true.
But his place near Santana Row gets booked up, and it's really nice. It's like basically like an Anton design inside, so it's really decked out.
And it works for him. So it's, it's
so
good.
he has an ADU too, and so he rents both of them out.
Oh wow, separate listings.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Realistically, like, what are some things that are terrible about Airbnbs running those?
Terrible.
Yeah.
I would say the guests. I mean, it depends on the guests. Sometimes guests can be like super nice, or like you don't communicate with them at all, and they give you like good review, based on the place and everything. But I noticed like the guest who's asking the like most amount of questions, the most difficult guests. Even like, I think recently it was for Kailua, like one of the family asked me to reduce the price for their stay. And I'm like, okay, I mean, since, there's like a small gap and like, you know, I don't want to wait. So I'm like, okay, I'll reduce the price and I fill this gap. But now, like, oh my God, they're asking so many questions, this and that. And then like, you know, oh, there is like a little bit of dirt, a little bit of dust there. Can you send like cleaning crew to reclean it? And like, you know, and nonstop almost every day something. I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah.
So, but I mean,
That does not
it's
sound
fine. Like, you know, like I always try to do my best. Like, I mean, you can check my reviews too. Like, I mean, I really try to put myself as a guest and like what I would do, like what will like make me happy as the guest. And just kind of trying to do the same thing to the guests. Yeah.
Is there a way to protect against like dumb people?
Protect?
Well,
Well, I mean,
so for, like, okay,
well,
here's an example. So, like, you know, sometimes you're on Amazon,
yeah,
and then you know you're looking up reviews for
Yeah.
like a computer,
yeah,
and then like there's like a 1-star review, and it's like this toaster sucks, and it's like it's not a toaster. You're using it wrong. It's a computer, right? And like I feel like in Airbnb that'd be kind of similar, where like people are like, man, like the Airbnb was okay, but like the air quality sucks in San Jose. 1 out of 5 stars or whatever.
Yeah.
Right.
yeah.
There's some
I mean,
people that I remember Anton had mentioned this before with Waikiki that complain about the noise level.
Yeah.
Right.
You know,
It's-
you're like in the heart of Waikiki downtown.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
yeah, It's like you're in the middle of Waikiki, and there's like constantly music playing, people screaming, like police cars, ambulance, whatever. And then like I mean, you can see the location where it is. You
Yeah.
know, you can expect it's going to be noisier than like in the countryside or somewhere. But I mean, this guest was very interesting because he also say like, oh, the bed was too small, but like I mean, it's advertised as a queen bed. I mean, you should know what queen bed is.
Right. And also
Yeah.
too, he's probably 8 feet tall, so every bed's probably too
Yeah,
small.
this guy was from Switzerland.
Yeah, he's definitely 9 feet tall.
Yeah.
He's a Viking.
Yeah,
Yeah.
100%. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, the another thing, like how, like on Airbnb, like for example, like I activate like Insta book, so it's mean they can book right away. But you can also basically select review yourself each bookings before they can book. You know, I mean that's answer to a question what you were saying, like how you can kind of like prove it, like but protect it. But I mean that's the only thing. But even then, you don't know. You can ask as many questions, but like you never know when the guests check in. Sometimes I also experience like prior like communication is super nice, but once they check in, like it's completely different human.
Yeah.
So it's like,
Yeah, it sucks.
but I mean, there are a lot of things. I mean, actually, one of my friends, he's doing Airbnb too here in San Jose. But it's like a luxury home. It's like a villa. It's like a 5,000 square foot home, like with pool, jacuzzi, basketball court, and stuff like that. And actually close to your area.
Okay.
Yeah, it's nice, like gated. I mean, it's amazing. So I think they listed for half a year for 6 months. I mean, so far like 5 reviews, and then last guest left 3 reviews, like 3-star reviews, just because there was a mouse in the attic running.
Yeah, see, that's
And
what I'm talking about.
then like I mean, it's out of your hands. Yeah.
Right.
So they sent the pest control and everything, and I think for
Why was he in the attic?
I think he's just here.
mice? I don't
Oh,
know.
right.
Oh no, I think when they was sleeping in the bedroom,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
something was at night, and
Yeah.
then and then even they reimbursed them for I think for last night or something when it
Okay.
happened. They still left 3-star reviews.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's happened to me also a couple times. You know, like really bad situations. But like I mean, what I did, for example, like they asked me for 1 night reimbursement. I think it was thing with the fridge. So the fridge went bad, and they just bought like a full fridge of food,
Oh, yeah.
and then like everything just got destroyed or like overnight, or like because the fridge is not working.
Right.
So I reimbursed them, like they asked for one night reimbursement, but I reimbursed them 2 nights, and also asked like how much you pay for the groceries, and I reimbursed the groceries.
Right.
So and they still left me 5-star review because saying
Yeah.
like, oh my God, Anton went above and beyond. We didn't even expect like, you know, he's going to do this for us. But because I was thinking too, oh my God, if they just do whatever they ask, they're still not going to be happy.
Yeah.
So you can like have to like exceed the expectations.
Right.
You know, then so I mean in my case kind of worked out.
I think that's the right
you know?
play.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, because like the reviews, I feel like on Airbnb is everything.
Yeah.
It's like
For sure.
Yeah.
100%.
It was like back in the days when selling on eBay. I remember because I was selling TVs on eBay, like in my college time. So
yeah,
so
especially
same
since
thing.
like the pool is smaller, so every
Yeah.
review is worth more.
yeah,
Right.
yeah.
So, What about you, Brad?
Yeah, I mean, I'm always trying to get that 5-star review for sure. To Anton's point, trying to go above and beyond, especially if the issues do come up. I mean, one thing I've learned is that even though I try my best to get that 5-star review, I'm not gonna, lose sleep if somebody doesn't give me that 5-star review, because there's just people out there that just aren't willing to do that. It's always going to be nothing's perfect in their eyes, which is fine. But
Is it though? It's not fine. If they're out there, they should stop doing that.
Yeah,
They should
seriously.
stop living like that.
But at the end of the day, for me, it's like if I did everything I could to make sure that they had a great experience in my place, then I've done everything I could.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's the part that is a little bit stressful especially when you first get into it. Like when I first got into it, I was so worried about those reviews.
Yeah.
And I still am. I like I said, I try to go above and beyond, but I'm not going to lose sleep over it either.
Right.
Yeah, same thing. I would say in the beginning I was really like freaking out, like make sure you know everything. But now I'm just like, okay. I mean, it is what it is. But I think so far I only got 5 stars, except one time 4 stars. And I also asked them like, why you guys give me 4 stars? It's like, oh yeah, we saw like a small little ant in the kitchen. And it was a guy like, I think from Korea.
That's worth
Korea or something.
1 star.
And I told them like, well, you could have like reached out to me that, I could have sent someone to, I don't know,
kill the ant.
put some traps or like whatever needed.
Right.
But he's like, yeah, it's too late. We already checked out. I'm like, okay, thank you. I'm like, no, I mean, I was just nice. I said, okay, thank you for the feedback. But yeah.
Did you say they were from Korea?
I think so.
Okay. When I'll talk to Hannah. See what she can do.
That's
Be like, hey, your people are wilding out right now.
Yeah, the cool thing about the Hawaii place is you get so many international people from, especially Asia, right?
Yeah.
So I think that part's really fun, just being able to communicate with them. And,
Oh yeah.
and the you get a lot of newlyweds, which is really cool too.
Right,
So,
right.
so everybody I feel like that goes to Hawaii is always happy.
That's true.
With Tahoe, it's a single family home. It's big groups, families, and I think the thing about that place that I'm kind of over, I think I've told you guys this, is just the maintenance involved. Is dealing with the wear and tear,
snow.
Just constant. So
Yeah. But Hawaii, right? Everyone's like, there's like a first timer.
yeah,
And they're like mostly like super excited. Like,
Yep.
And they're
they
like
send you the
Japanese,
message.
right?
Well, Japanese, they always want to have a rice cooker. They're like,
that's
is this a rice
true.
cooker?
Yeah, we can't
I'm
live
like-
without that.
Yes. Okay, I'm booking.
And for the most part, obviously not all, but like for the most part, they're like, oh, thank you. And they're always like, they're very respectful. They go, oh, yes, I clean for you.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you. 10 out of 5 stars. Thank you. So
No, but they're most polite people, I would say.
totally.
in general,
Yeah.
I'm sure there's some
Yeah.
jerks out there like me, but whatever.
Oh,
yeah. Cool. Very cool. I like it. Airbnb is cool. I think the name of the game, watching you guys operate, I think the most important thing for everybody thinking about Airbnb is that you can take a very proactive approach, kind of like what you guys do, and manage it. But the systems are the most important. And as long as you have your systems established, then you don't really have to get your hands dirty as much. Just every now and then, right,
Yeah.
to put the touches on. But for the most part, like it seems like it's not too crazy.
The hardest part, though, I think, unlike long-term rentals, where you just kind of put it on the market and let them move in and that's it, right?
Yep.
With Airbnbs, you're furnishing it,
Right.
right?
Yep.
And then Anton and I both have experience with basically having to remodel those Airbnbs.
How often do you guys have to do that?
Like remodel?
Yeah,
Well,
because
one
like,
time. I
but,
mean,
like timeline wise,
major.
yeah,
I mean,
because like the couches, the tables, all those things, they're
All
going to
the
show wear and
furniture.
tear, right? So
I haven't, for my Tahoe place, we haven't. I mean, we had to replace things that get broken here and there, but we haven't. It's been 3 years now, and we haven't refreshed furniture.
I think in Hawaii, in the house in Kailua, I think last year we replaced like the living room furniture, but it's because it was original. So actually, when we bought the house, we asked the owner like if they're willing to sell the furniture too, because we didn't want to spend time, buying everything new, and so only that's why. But I would say if you furnish new, I mean, they should last at least, I don't know, 5 to 10 years. It depends. I mean, depends on the quality of the furniture and like what happened. I mean, it can always someone can spill something or cut your couch,
Yeah, it's true.
you know, but you can always fix it. I mean, there are
Yeah.
like companies who can like,
The furniture part, Jamie, and the decor part, Jamie really enjoyed doing. I'm okay, but dealing with the contractor when it comes to the remodel,
Yeah.
I mean that's a whole other episode that we could
Yeah.
talk about. But
Contractors, my
just
favorite.
dealing with that was probably the most stressful because they, you know, like a place like Hawaii, obviously we can't just drive there, so it's a commitment to book a ticket and go out there and check on the progress and yell at contractors. So that's the part that I could definitely you know, skip.
Yeah.
No.
Cool.
And you don't have to deal with that with the long terms.
No, you don't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
well, the only thing I think it works to remodel, you know, because you make this, I mean, especially for Airbnbs, I think it's very important to make it attractive. Like, you know, whoever see a listing and they see like, you know, it's so amazing. And and you can even ask actually for a higher price, because I think like our units, like Breads and mine, they actually asking price is way higher than other units, but other units looks like a grandma place, you know?
Right.
like
right.
from
Yeah. Garbage.
like Hawaii place from 70s or something.
Heavily dated.
They haven't changed anything.
Right.
And yeah, but people appreciating this. I mean, they're definitely like they commenting on that. They, you know, attention to details and stuff like that. So I think that's very important for Airbnb.
Cool.
Yeah, but pros and cons, I think in general, I think long term is more like an autopilot. Yeah.
Yep.
As Brett mentioned, like you put it on the market and then you just receive monthly payment and then pretty much done. Where like Airbnb, you can set it up on autopilot too, but you still have like at least once or 2 times a week you have to be involved. Like, you know, if something comes up that you have to manage. Yeah.
You have to find really good people.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
cleaners
Oh my
and
God. Yeah. The people is
handyman.
very important. Yeah. So like, I mean, especially with the cleaners, I mean, mostly like my schedule's like automated. Like, you know, I share the calendar so they know when the people check out and check in. So I don't need to communicate that with them. But like if there is something come up, like, you know, they send the pictures and then you have to be involved. Yeah.
Right. Very cool.
But I think rewards are higher.
Yeah. Well, so we're gonna go see your place tomorrow in Hawaii.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Oh my
So-
God, you guys going tomorrow? I
Yeah,
mean,
they're-
oh
dude.
man, that's
if
I'm
there's
so
any-
bummed that I cannot go, like
Yeah.
because of the Lunar New Year.
Just sneak out, man. Just tell.
Hey, but I will say this, dude. There better not be any damn ants in your place. Because for every ant that I see, that's 1 star gone. So you have 5 ants. That's your limit.
But I thought you're Japanese, not Korean.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. You're right. I'm just messing around. But yeah, that'll be fun.
But I think
Cool.
you actually, Dan, have more experience with long term than we do. So
Yeah,
It's like a different business model, right?
yeah.
Like our goal is really to kind of build like wealth for our kids, just in case if they want to become like artists or something like that. You know, like and not any kind of artist. Like if they decide they want to be like talentless artists that make no money, then I want to make sure that they don't go homeless.
Yeah.
Right? Especially if they want to stay around here. So, so it's not really like a cash flow kind of move, right? Because I'm not cash flowing. We're like house rich, money poor, right? So where Airbnb, I feel like if your goal is to build cash flow, that's a great business, you know. But yeah, for long terms, yeah, it's a different game. You know, I'm not like actively managing it, right? Like an Airbnb, but it's a little different too. And I don't know if I'm doing it right, but like, you know, we get to know our renters, right? They tend to be there for a long time, at least a year, right? So they tend to also take care of the home like it's theirs also.
Yeah, that's huge.
Yeah, and also, you know, to try to maximize the probability of that happening, like the interviewing process is like pretty in depth. Like we want to get to know them and make sure that they're, you know, people that are going to respect the property. Where in Airbnb you're not, right? So
I'm just wondering like how much you involve, like, you know, how much they call you and like, oh, you know, water heater is broken. Oh, there is like, I don't know, the baseboard came off. Like, oh, I don't know, there is like, how much, like, how often does it happen that, you know, you have to be involved?
Not often. The only time would be like major things. Like, so for instance, if like, the water heater breaks, or like the, washing machines and, stuff like that. But, we check in, with them just to make sure everything's going okay. And then that's usually when they'll bring up little things.
Okay.
And then, we'll, depending on what it is, we'll take care of it.
But how often you check in, like every month or every quarter?
It's not really like systematized.
Oh,
it's
okay.
more just,
so
like,
just like on the film.
yeah, it's like, oh, it was like a text.
How's it
And
going?
I was like, oh,
Okay.
yeah. But, also too, as real estate agents as well, it's nice because, so one of my clients that lived at Kelly's, they ended up becoming a client.
Okay.
And then I helped them purchase a home in Almaden. So, it's probably, there are benefits to actually building a relationship with your renters. I don't think you're supposed to. It's kind of frowned upon because it makes it so that when you're managing it, like, you can't really, right?
You feel a little guilty if you have to raise the rent.
Right. Like, and we don't, but it goes back to, like, my goal isn't necessarily to maximize, like, I'm not trying to milk like a couple $100 or whatever from my renters.
Yeah.
What I want is stability, and I want them to take care of the home.
Yeah.
And have open communication. So if that's my goal, then,
I think you do it right when it comes to just prepping your properties too before they go on the market. Like,
right.
I manage my past clients. I work with them to manage some of their rental properties. And that's my biggest advice to them is before we get on the market, let's address any issues that because it'll just save us a lot of time and back and forth when the tenant moves in. If these things pop up, if we can address them now, it'll just be so much more helpful. So I think you do it right in terms of prepping your properties before the tenants move in.
Yeah. I mean, essentially the only opportunity I have to do things like that is when keys switch hands, right?
Yeah.
So like when the previous tenant moves out and a new one comes in, then I have a gap, and that's usually when we'll go overboard too. Like, I'm like making sure everything's watertight, and if anything, like one thing too is, like, I wouldn't wait for things to break, right?
Yeah.
If something is past its like usable lifetime, just swap it out, just upgrade it at that point, and then that way you don't have to worry about it later, and you're not inconveniencing your future tenant. And it's saving you time and money by proactively doing that kind of stuff.
Sure.
Of course, depending on what it is, but yeah, I mean, for the most part, I feel like as long as you get the right people in your properties, then it is easier, I think, than.
I think it's super important.
Yeah, the upfront vetting is so important. Not just like the application itself, but actually meeting them and talking to them and seeing if you think they're going to be good match for you.
Right. Yeah.
But you brought up a great point with long term versus short term. For short term, it's definitely a cash flow thing, right? With long term, I think you guys are great because you're just banking on the long term appreciation of the property and setting up a great future for your kids, hopefully.
Yeah. Hopefully they won't need it, and then I can sell it and then buy a cannon and
a yacht.
and a boat.
Yeah, there you go.
Not likely, but
I
one
think you
can
want to do
dream.
like a cigar lounge in the mountains.
Oh my gosh.
Oh man, there you
Yeah.
go.
That would be amazing.
that'd be
another,
amazing.
That was going to be another like podcast location.
Dude, when we get old, I'm telling you, we need to pool together some money and build like a castle, like a man castle
Yeah, there you go.
in the Santa Cruz Mountains,
Oh yeah.
like an easily defendable position, right? With like a cigar lounge and like
What else?
axe throwing,
Dan,
what else? What
Dan-
else?
helicopter pad.
You
And-
can
and
do
then?
the
Whiskey
infrastructure.
barrels.
You can handle the infrastructure of the property, and Anton will decorate it.
Yeah, dude. We'll like hire some like hard nosed ex Navy SEALs to like
There you go.
secure the home. All right, cool. Okay. Is there anything else you guys want to touch on short term versus long term rentals?
I think when I talk to clients about it, it just comes down to location. Like if and your strategy in terms of cash flow or looking for long term appreciation. Because I think like our properties in Hawaii, long term appreciation probably not there, especially with the condos, right?
Mhm.
But the cash flow is really good. Versus you having a place in the Bay Area where obviously Bay Area prices continue to skyrocket, right? So it's just I mean, there's no right or wrong. It's just depends on your strategy and then also where you can afford to buy.
Yeah. I mean, for me, usually like what I advise, like if you do want to go in Airbnb business, like if someone, just want to do it like as investment or like, side hustle, like pick the location that you really enjoy yourself.
Yes,
That,
that's
that
really
you
good advice.
you can use this place yourself. So let's say if there is a gap that, like instead of staying in the hotel, you can go there and stay at your own place.
Yeah.
And I don't know, maybe fix up a couple things and, there's always something come up, but then you can enjoy the location plus your own place. And then, I think that's very important.
That part is huge, and I forgot to mention that too, because like with our place in Huntington, I mean, we bought it 6 years ago or whatever, and the girls were still pretty young then, and so they were able to enjoy it. And the only problem is they got so attached to it. Now me converting it to a midterm rental, they're like, no, this is our house. I'm like, well,
See, this is why you don't build relationships with your renters.
yeah.
You're just gonna cut them off.
Yeah.
Just be like, this is not a good business move. We're getting rid of it. I agree with all of those points. I think if I could go back in time, so I'm a very conservative kind of investor person, right? So if I wasn't so much of a pussy and I could go back in time, probably what I would advise like a younger person that's kind of building their future would be actually to do Airbnb first, and check that out, like a small one in a very like easily rentable kind of place, and get some experience there, because I think that managing experience is very important and also directly applicable to long-term rentals. And then so as you learn and do that, and usually it's going to be a less money to purchase anyway, because it's probably like, it's not going to be like a huge mansion or anything.
Yeah.
Then you'll be building cash flow, and that will help to build some savings for longer term investments, and then kind of diversify your portfolio. So you have some cash flow and you have some long term appreciation. That's probably what I would do if I had started before a family.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that anybody taking that approach is setting themselves up for great success. Right? So, anything else, guys?
Yeah.
I think that's it.
All right.
Yeah,
Cool.
I mean, actually, so the short-term rental, one thing, but like, for example, on my side, I have another two, like mid-term, how you call them. But then, I mean, in Hawaii, the due state is also long-term, which is like 30 days minimum.
Yeah.
And I think the difference between those two, like in both of them on Airbnb. So there's like condos, for example, they're like daily, so they can, but the long-term, like it has to be 30 days minimum. So, and I would say sometimes I'm actually more involved with those 30 days minimum guests, like who is staying in like a single family home versus a condo, because I think they're spending more time in-house versus like when they stay at condo, they're more exploring the island.
Right.
So, I mean, it's kind of long-term, but it's still like involvement, like, like on Airbnb side. So I think you cannot even compare those 30 days long-term minimum, like on Airbnb versus like a proper long-term, like contract 12 months.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it's still, you still have to put time into it too.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
I feel like those two are kind of a similar beast.
Yeah.
Like the short term and the midterm. I feel like in terms of like wrapping your head around it, I'd say consider those two the same.
Yeah.
Because it's a similar amount of work. It's just like a more kind of extended timeline.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, guys. I think that's another one in the books.
Yeah.
Let's wrap it up. Can you take us out, Mr. Brad?
I don't have an ending thing. That's something you can do.
Just do it. Come on. Give me something.
I don't know, man.
All right. Peace out, y'all. Got to pee so bad.
That was good.
Yep.